Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our message for Sunday, September 19th of 2021. My talk title today is, Could You Be Like the Firefly? And I chose this title because I was doing a meditation that had pictures of fireflies in it. They were absolutely beautiful and incredibly mystical looking. To see the light of the fireflies in open meadows, in forests, against the night skies. And the meditation got me to thinking that we also can be very much like the firefly. So, what is a firefly? According to the dictionary, fireflies are soft-bodied beetles that are commonly called fireflies, glowworms, or lightning bugs, for their conspicuous use of bioluminescence. Soft-bodied. I look at that as them reflecting the softness of our spirit. And the bioluminescence is the spiritual light within us that we can shine, just as the firefly shines its light when it decides to do so. The most commonly known fireflies only come out at night. They come out when it begins to get dark. So what is darkness? Of course, for the firefly, it's that time of day when night begins to come on. But for us, it could be that time in our lives when the darkness of events, fears of something happening, upsets from something said to us, when these things come into our lives. And that's when we could begin to more fully shine our own light, shine the light of the Christ that is within us, and dispel the darkness that's beginning to surround us. All fireflies glow as larvae. So when we're born, we ourselves have this innate light that glows around us. It's clear, it's unadulterated. We have come into the world free from most outside influences, and still completely connected in all ways to the spiritual side we just came in from. And while all known fireflies glow as larvae, only some adults produce light. With the European glowworm, the non-flying adult females glow brightly, while the flying males glow only weakly and intermittently. Now, for us, this has absolutely nothing to do about male and female. It's about us individually and how we handle life. So when we find more and more time to just sit still, go into meditation more often, make our connection with spirit more and more during our waking hours, we glow brightly with the light of spirit inside of us. When we spend most of our day flying around, busy with this and that, our light dims and it glows weakly, and only when we happen at some point in time during the day to think of spirit, does that part of us that is the light get a chance to glow. And as it says, weakly and intermittently. So fireflies have a large amount of variation in their general appearance and differences in color, shape, and size. And I had to laugh at that one. Look around us. Does that describe us or what? Large variation in their general appearance, differences in color, shapes, and sizes. Boy, if that doesn't, describe the human family, I don't know what does. Fireflies undergo a transformation called complete metamorphosis. And in this case, they're very much like the butterfly. They begin as larvae and transform into what we call the firefly. It's a complete metamorphosis. And that is what we are here to do. Letting go of all of the old to be the fullness of the Christ presence that you are. Let's face it, we come into this world and we go through our younger life learning so many things. And then at some point in time, we go out into the world. We have our own ideas, we make mistakes, we judge and condemn, and we do things that later on we wish we hadn't done, or that we say things that we wish we hadn't said. But then at some point, we do a complete changeover. We start to look for something different in our lives. We make different choices. We begin to study and learn about a much higher level of life and being. And with that, we begin to make our full metamorphosis. We make a full change from what we were to what we are to become. Now, fireflies hibernate over the winter. And this is a great one to take inside and look at for your own life. And how many of you actually really want to just go within during the winter? I know I do. I just want to cuddle up, stay in bed, read, hunker down. I don't really like to go out and do things in the winter. I love looking outside at the rain and the wind. And when it's happening, I love watching the snowfall. I love to just curl up and sit there with a hot cup of coffee or tea and just blitz into what is going on around me outside. I can spend hours not thinking, just being. And in a sense, this is a type of hibernation, to just go within, to go to that deeper part of our own being, to really look inside and take stock of who I am and what I am to the world. Fireflies emerge in the spring. So during the winter, when it's cold and dreary outside, we just want to stay inside within the confines of our own world. However, once spring comes, it seems like all of a sudden, all we want to do is get outside and spread our wings, so to speak. Get out and do things, sometimes just to get out of the house. We want to go out and feel the sun on our bodies, take walks in the fresh spring air, see and smell all the new spring flowers that are popping up. In essence, to show up as a different person, a more aware being. It's been shown that early larval bioluminescence was adopted in adult fireflies and was repeatedly gained and lost before becoming fixed and retained. So does that describe most of us? We have this innate wisdom inside when we're young. It's as if we have this intuitive ability, especially when we are 2, 3, 4 years of age. And then it gets wiped out of us by our parents, other adults, other friends who don't understand and keep discounting our insights as just imagination. Over a period of time, all that just fades away. But then at some point, as we grow older, we once again begin to bring that back out. So as we open more and more to our own innate abilities, they get stronger and stronger until they get locked in once again. Some species are distinguished by unique flash patterns. Synchronization of flashing is a phenomenon of several firefly species. Tropical fireflies routinely synchronize their flashes among large groups. And at night, along the river banks in the Malaysian jungles, fireflies synchronize their light emissions precisely. So I've shared with you several times about the Joe Dispenza workshop I took, where he set several metronomes up and started them all going. And at first, none of them were in sync. And yet, after a short period of time, they all began to sync together and move in rhythm. It was as if the sound vibration they were putting off wanted to be in sync with each other. So the fireflies, being of the same vibration, also are geared toward being in sync with each other. So here you have thousands of fireflies, all wanting to be in sync with each other. But how about us? Don't we gravitate toward others that are in sync with us? Those of like mind, so to speak, people with our same interests. It's how we work as people. We all gravitate toward those who share our same interests, similar viewpoints, thoughts on subjects. It's just our human nature. Firefly systematics, as with many instincts, are in constant state of flux as new species continue to be discovered. What about our own systematics? You know, each of us has an internal growth aspect where we can find new aspects of our own selves, new and different levels of our own being, new thought process, new and higher levels of looking at things that change us and expand us into seeing, experiencing life from an entirely different viewpoint. After which we ourselves become a new person, or in a way, a new species, if you want to look at it that way. But a new person who cannot go back to the way they were in the past. And finally, fireflies depend on their own light to reproduce. Well, we depend on our own light, capital L light, to reproduce. But what are we reproducing? Whatever thought and energy we're sending out comes back to us. That's the reproduction. You know, everything is energy. And I shared this with you the last time I spoke. So the energy we give out is the energy we get back. The firefly depends on its light to reproduce. We depend on the light within us to reproduce the love, caring, compassionate thoughts we give out. The thoughts of health and prosperity, oneness. All of these are what are coming back to us, or being reproduced, if you will, and creating the life we are living. So as the firefly uses its light to reproduce at will, we can use our light to reproduce more light to better create our own lives. Fireflies are very sensitive to environmental levels of light and consequently to light pollution. So how are you when you are around people who do not share your same level of light emissions? Are you bothered by the hatred and animosity that can sometimes surround us? Are you sensitive to the vibrations that others give off? Are you sensitive to energies that surround the earth? At least we can do something about it. We can choose to be around those of like mind. We can move to different areas and get away from influences that are negatively affecting us. Think of the firefly who is stuck living where they are and has no place to go to get away from those energies that are actually destroying their habitat. Fireflies are charismatic and are easily spotted by non-experts by just shining their light. You know, when you shine your light, there's something different about you. your personal peacefulness, joy, feeling of abundance, health, whatever, is actually an energy that attracts others. People will be drawn to you when you share a smile with someone, when you laugh, share a hug. You're shining the light of source within you, and you're sharing that with the world. And people may not know why they're drawn to you, but it is the light within you that is doing the work. As Jesus stated, it is not I, but the Father within that does the work. So the question is, could you be like the butterfly? Could you reflect the softness of your spirit, the bioluminescence of the spiritual light within you that you can shine? We can all shine the light of the Christ that is within us and help dispel the darkness that surrounds us on this planet. We can stay completely connected in all ways to the spiritual side of our own being by choosing to find more and more time to just sit still and go into meditation more often. We can make our connection with spirit more often during our waking hours and therefore glow more brightly with the light of spirit within us. Are we willing to go through a complete metamorphosis? You know, each one of us can choose to let go of all of the old, to be the fullness of the Christ presence that you are, to go to that deeper part of your own being, and to really look inside and take stock of who and what you are to the world. Each one of us can be willing to open more and more to our own innate abilities so they can get stronger and stronger until they get locked in once again. And by doing so, we can find new aspects of our own selves, new and different levels of our own being, new thought processes, new and higher levels, higher ways of looking at things so that we ourselves can become a new person. I think the biggest question of all is, are we willing to use our light to reproduce more light, to better create our own lives and the lives of all those who live on this earth? I know the answer to that is a huge, resounding yes. So I want to thank you all for joining with me today for this message. Express your light, your love, your caring, compassion, joy, peace. Be all you came to be. Be the light of the world. So much love, everyone. God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I behold the Christ in you. Namaste, all. Take care.